Yo, yo, yo. I'm going live on YouTube and on Instagram. This is a little crazy. So, yeah, I think that I'm just going to look at both. See what happens. Who's jumping on? Who's jumping on? Hey, Yaz. How's it going? So I'm going to start in a little bit. And like I said, I'm going to talk about energy. And, you might be thinking, what the hell? What up? Is like, why are we talking about energy? What do you mean energy? So yeah, letting it go. I hear people say a lot, just let that shit go. And why that actually isn't what we should be doing. So just kind of wait a little bit longer for people to jump on, see if anybody is on the YouTube area. Yeah, I've been putting this off because I've been thinking about, do I even know what I'm going to talk about? Do I even know what I'm going to say? Do I even know what to say? Am I, good enough for this? And yeah, I am. So I'm just going to do it. Yeah, flag football champs. I was just thinking about that yesterday. So for those of you that aren't in this live, and Yaz and I are just shooting the shit together, we played on a wonderful flag football team called Ice Cream Paint Job. That was a co-ed flag football tournament league thing in the city, and we won 2 championships. And I think they won more in men's league and after I stopped playing. So yeah, Ice Cream Paint Job, ICPJ, PJ for life. All right. Okay, I'm just going to do this. If anybody jumps on, cool. And if not, that's okay too. Just going to put in the comments what we're talking about. Cool. All right, so energy. I've been thinking about this a lot, and it's been coming up in a lot of conversations about, letting it go versus transforming. And most of the time you hear, whatever doesn't serve you, let it go. If it doesn't feel right, let it go. Bad vibes, let it go. But really, energy exists whether we let it go or not. So instead of letting that shit go, how about we transform it? And I have been using the word transform a lot lately. It has come through in a lot of different coaching sessions and energy work and whatever kind of shit that I do to be a conduit of transformation. That kind of feels like my purpose in life. And transformation can look like a lot of different things, whether it's, transforming your career, transforming your thought process, transforming your body. I am all about transformation and helping people live their best life possible and the most authentic life possible, and what that actually means for you as an individual and not what it means for your parents or your loved one or anyone else, society. What does authenticity look like for you? What do you want in the world? So like I said, I feel like a conduit of transformation. So transformation comes up a lot in my life, and especially in this work around energy. So this all started because I started reading this book. Don't be nervous by the cover. Healing Love Through the Tao, Cultivating Female Sexual Energy. And it's not just about like tantra or sex in general. It's really about energy and the power of sexual energy. Don't just leave yet if you're like, whoa, she's talking about sex. I don't really want to listen to her talking about sex. I'm not. But it talks about how, in the first 10 pages, it says that you can't let energy go. When you say that, I'm just going to let that energy go, you're putting it back out into the universe, because energy doesn't go away. Putting it back out into the universe, and because it's your energy, it's going to come right back to you. And in the book, it says it's going to come back tenfold. So if you're like, I don't want to deal with this energy, this doesn't serve me, and you put it out into the world, it's going to come back and smack you in the face until you deal with that energy. And it's just like lessons in life. Like there's this saying that, the lessons, your teachers are going to show up when you're ready. The lessons are going to keep showing up in the same way, or something along the same lines in the same way, until you learn that lesson. And until you learn that lesson, that's when the energy shifts. So it's not about letting that shit go. It's about transforming what that energy is for you. And you see it a lot in like shadow work. So, everything is yin and yang. Everything is light and dark. You can't have one without the other. And so with that, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, so good. Like I can just tell that I'm so passionate about this and that I've been dealing with this. I'm not dealing with it, but working through it a lot. When everything is yin and yang, right? So even though you have a shadow side, that shadow is always going to be there. But what you utilize it for, what you do with it, and how you utilize that energy is what matters. So everything's light and dark. Everything is good and bad. There's a yin and a yang to everything. It's how do we utilize each side? One of the things that I have written down is talking about anger as fuel. There are a lot of times where I have recognized in the last probably year or so of how angry I can get. A lot of the healing that I've been doing is around not toxic masculinity. I feel like I've been using that, and that word and that phrase has been used a lot lately. But in healing through some things around my dad, just to be completely honest, he grew up in an era like where it was okay to just degrade women and to talk down to them or flirt with them inappropriately and just kind of do things like that. In his mind, it was okay on some level. And so that's been something that as his dementia has gotten worse, how there is no filter and whatever goes on kind of comes out sometimes. And I would get really angry around those things. And then that would manifest in other ways. And instead of saying, I let that shit go, I don't want to deal with it, or, this doesn't serve me, I'm out, really sitting with it and looking at, okay, where do these triggers stem from? How can I utilize this anger in another way? Because it's about honoring the feelings and knowing that you're not the feelings. And I feel like this is just so cliche to say, like, you're not your emotions. You recognize the emotions, you sit with the emotions, you let the emotions happen, you let the emotions move, but recognize that that's just happening. It's energy, right? It's just energy in the body, it's energy in the world, but that is not you as a soul, as an entity, as a whole being outside of just this meat suit. It is part of the experience, and that's one of the beautiful things about this human experience is the range of emotions that we have. We're taught to suppress and run away, and not we, everyone. Like there are other parts of the world where they don't teach people to suppress your emotions and to run away from negative feelings. You're taught to sit with them and work through them and understand where they come from. And that's, I talked about this in my latest post about, doing the work with ayahuasca and the life that has kind of catapulted since doing that work hasn't been easy. I'm not necessarily going out to the club every weekend anymore like I was in my 20s. And not that I drank a lot then either, but I definitely had my ways of escaping reality and what I was scared about, and having what society deemed I should be doing on my shoulders. And now not having that mentality and really focusing on living this human experience to the full capacity. And that includes both the dark and the light. And so dealing with the trauma and dealing with the triggers. And I'm trying to stay away from the word dealing, working through, because that's what it is. It's not like I'm dealing with them. It's something that I'm working on and feeling into in that world. So I feel like I just went on a huge long tangent. Sometimes that's just how energy works, right? It comes through, get passionate about something, and it's almost like a meditative state, and you get zoned into it. It's like flow state, right? If you're an athlete, you definitely know about flow state. And when I played basketball and getting in the zone, and when I was a dancer, getting in the zone, I have some friends that could probably talk about. There was a time where I nailed a pirouette and I couldn't get down. I was just in the zone. But anyways, just gonna look at my notes real quick. So, what does that even mean to transform your energy? And I'll take it a step back and say that the first step is, for me, has been meditation and creating a meditation practice. And I know so many people who are like, I can't meditate. It doesn't work for me. I don't know how to meditate. Or I've tried meditating and it's just, I can't do it. Like, what can't you do? Like, I understand that you might think that you need to sit and just be completely clear, but that's not what meditation is. Meditation is being able to always come back to the present moment, is to be able to recognize when those thoughts come up, or if you start thinking about your to-do list for the day, saying, oh, hey, what's up, to-do list? I'll get back to you later. Right now, I'm just going to sit here, but I'll visit you later. So that constant coming back to center and seeing how long you can stay here, that's what meditation is. That's what meditation is. That, and maybe it's different for other people. Maybe I should actually look up the definition of meditation. But it's about coming back to presence and being completely present, because that's where it all starts. In order to see where those triggers come from, when you get upset with someone else. I was just listening to a podcast before I jumped on here about when you get really upset with someone or a situation, being able to take a step back and say, what am I really upset about? Is there something that I'm suppressing, or is there something that I do that is much like what I'm getting upset about that is actually upsetting me? So I can tend to get really upset with people who are either for a job interview or coming to meet with me or anything like that. And if they're over 10 minutes late, I judge them. But really, I'm judging myself, because I know that I can be late a lot. And it's all relative, right? Like, time doesn't really exist. But that's another topic later on. But it's the meditation practice that allows you to continuously come back to center, to continuously notice your thoughts, and continuously come back to your presence, to be able to look at those moments of anger or those moments of frustration and be like, am I really frustrated at what's happening here? Or is there something happening within me that I need to focus on? And if it is, because it normally is, what is it that I need to focus on? So creating meditation practice in order to recognize the energy that's happening within you, to then be able to transform it. Because once you can recognize the energy that's happening, whether it's your shadow, your anger, whatever it might be, once you are able to recognize that and know how you want to make that shift, that's where the transformation happens. So if I have been getting really angry with the patriarchy, for lack of better words, and people who are not seeing women's rights as equal rights or whatever it might be that's going on in the media, and that's all the shit that we're fighting for, right? I'm getting really riled up about that. I recognize that there is some of it that comes from my past. That's trauma that I've dealt with. I recognize that there is a problem with it. But I also recognize that it's not just me getting angry isn't going to help the situation. How can I transform that anger into action, into change, to then best utilize my energy, best utilize that anger and transform that energy? So, because if I just get angry, I'm putting that anger into the universe, and it's just making the situation continue to be what it is. But if I take a step back, and again, I was listening to that Nako song again today, change begins with me, and I reflect it back to you, make the movement move. Change has to begin within ourselves in order for us to see the change that we want to see in the world. So transform, change, whatever word you want to use, the energy that's happening within you that you don't like or that you don't think is serving you, into an energy that you think will serve you, an energy that you want to have present within you. It comes back to meditation. If you feel like you don't have a meditation practice, or you're not able to come back to center, or you're not able to recognize those triggers before it happened, or you catch yourself after the trigger, as long as you're recognizing that a trigger is happening, and you're recognizing that energy, and you recognize that you want to change and transform that energy, step one, right? Recognizing that by letting that energy go, it's just going to come back to you. And if it comes back tenfold, right? So if you put that good energy out there, the universe responds. And that was a beautiful thing that happened today. There are times that I definitely have been putting in the work, putting in the intentions, putting in, what's up, Monica? Talking about energy. Anyways, putting in the work, putting in the intention, and recognizing that I have to surrender, that I have to be present, that I have to trust the universe, trust the process. And I kept feeling like, is this going to get better? Like, I know that I'm putting in the work. I know that I'm putting in the healing. Something's got to give. Like, I know what you envision can happen. I believe in this land of abundance. I believe in what you think you become. And I've been feeling pretty powerful lately, folks. And it feels really good. But I got to say, the whole patience and surrendering process and seeing that unfold has sometimes been really difficult. There's a lot of coming back to that present of like, just trust, no, it's going to be okay. Everything works out when it's supposed to. You're right where you need to be. And then when the universe provides and shows that answer back and gives that energy back to you of what you've been putting out, dude, it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. And I was talking about how, after ayahuasca, how life has changed, and you feel the extremes, like you really feel the full human experience. When you feel that darkness and you allow yourself to feel the dark and feel the ugly and feel the yang, when you feel the yin, when you feel the light, when you feel the good, my God, does it equal. Like, the extremes of life are a beautiful thing. And the presence and the process in the middle, sometimes it's hard to feel grateful for it in the moment, but it's possible. And I know that it is because I've definitely felt it. Sometimes it doesn't present itself, but I definitely have a gratitude journal that I keep every morning of things that I'm grateful for. Some days it says that I'm grateful for the process because I know that it's going to get me where I need to be. And that it's not about the destination, because there's always going to be a destination, right? It's about the journey and how that journey makes you who you are in this present moment. It all comes back to presence. Full circle. But anyways, so like I said, what you put out there comes back to you tenfold. And today, like, it came back to me tenfold. And I was just like, I burst into tears of gratitude because I was so thankful. And then I got a message from a former intern of mine who's become a dear friend and mentee, and just I love her. And she sent me a message, and she has been looking for work, and she knew that she needed to change her life, and she made a big jump and a big leap, and the universe finally responded. She'd been putting in the work, she'd been putting out that energy, and it was dark and it was scary, but the light came through, the universe came through. Energy, energy, energy is an amazing thing. You really do become what you think. So being able to have that practice of coming back to center, and why do I think the way that I do? Where do these triggers come from? Where did this stem from? And always coming back to presence of like, how do I really want to respond to this? What do I really want to think about this? Is what we do. So to reiterate, to go back into this rant that I did for the last 20 minutes, transform, not let it go. Transform the energy that the negative, or I hate putting labels on things, but taking the energy that you don't want to feel and transforming it into the energy that you do want to feel is what happens. It's not letting it go, because energy is always going to come back to you. What you put out into the universe will come back tenfold. How do you transform that energy? How do you really recognize the energy that's happening? Meditation. What does meditation look like? Sitting 5 minutes at a time. I'll repost a Dr. Dan Engel post that he said, it's not about sitting in meditation necessarily for 30 minutes, an hour at a time. It's about sitting in meditation 5 minutes at a time, multiple times a day. Not saying necessarily one is right or wrong. Whatever your practice is beautiful. Whatever works for you is great. But being able to take that step back throughout the day and recentering will definitely help in seeing these triggers more often, seeing the energy that's happening. There's so much more that we could talk about. And so with that meditation of coming back to center and not judging what's happening, just like, oh, I see you to-do list, or, oh, I see you past love, or whatever comes into your mind. No judgment around it. No, why does that keep coming into my head? Just, oh, I see you. I recognize you. I honor you. I'm here. Honoring the emotions. So if you feel angry, all right, I see you, anger. I feel you. Not push it to the side. Let it come through. Let it move. And another piece that we didn't talk about is how to move that energy, right? So if you are feeling stuck or feeling stagnant and you want something to come through or move, and in order to maybe help transform that, movement, right? Breath work, dancing, ecstatic. I love ecstatic dance as one of the big components of just listening to music and letting your body move. Doesn't have to look like dance, just letting it move and let the energy flow. Yoga, another great way, specifically vinyasa, because it's a constant flow. You're moving through, you're empowering, you're noticing breath, you're noticing body. It just really makes you in tune with what's going on. So from meditation comes a transformation. So after being able to continue to come back to center, you're able to recognize the energy that's coming through and the energy that you want to shift and change and transform. And then just life is beautiful. And beautiful can mean a lot of different things. Even the darkness is beautiful. Something that I've been recognizing. And the other piece that I want to talk about at some other point, then maybe I'll bring somebody else on to talk about this, is that there's reasons and seasons and lifetimes for everything. And the energy isn't just about what you're putting out there, but the energy exchange that you have with somebody else. But that's a part two. I'll come back to that later, because energy exchange between people is another topic that I've been thinking about a lot, between friends, between lovers, and yeah, so I'll dive into that next time. But for now, transform your energy. Don't let it go. If you have any questions, hit me up. The book again was Healing Love Through the Tao. I'm only about a quarter of the way in, but super helpful. All right. Much love, folks. Peace.